Would Juan Soto to the Red Sox make any sense at all? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin. There was a pretty big announcement by the Padres yesterday. They announced that going into 2024, they're looking to cut their payroll down to about $200 million. Now, right now, that payroll is sitting at about $249 million, meaning that they have to get rid of $50 million going into the 2024 season. What this most likely means is that they are going to be letting a lot of their free agents walk. It also could mean that they could be interested in shedding some of their salary with guys either under arbitration or under contract going into the 2024 season. The biggest name out of all of those, and the guy everyone wants to talk about, is Juan Soto. Could the Padres make Juan Soto available this offseason? Well, that's kind of a fun hypothetical. I figured we'd have some fun today. So what we're going to do in today's video is we're going to break down what the Red Sox could look like with Juan Soto. We're going to talk about why he could be valuable to the Boston Red Sox. We're going to talk about some reasons why he might not be, why it might be a bad idea for the Red Sox to trade for Juan Soto. We're also going to be talking about what a trade looks like for Soto, and we're going to be talking about whether or not this would even make any sense at all for the Boston Red Sox. But before we get into that, just a heads up, our last live watch party of a Red Sox baseball game in the 2023 season will be tomorrow night right around 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be watching our last game of the 2023 season together with the Red Sox taking on the Rays, talking about the offseason, talking about general managers, talking about everything you want to talk about regarding the Boston Red Sox. If you haven't been to one yet, this is your last chance to do so during the 2023 season. The other thing I wanted to mention is that if you are not a member yet and are considering becoming a member of this channel, our members only live stream will be tonight. It is a trivia game show type thing, and what you could win is some Red Seat merch. You could also win some signed baseball cards. They are a ton of fun. If you haven't considered becoming a member yet, I highly recommend taking a look at it. The link is in the description. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. So I think when we're looking for reasons why it would make sense for the Red Sox to trade for Juan Soto, the obvious answer is right there in front of us. And that is that Juan Soto is one of the best hitters in Major League Baseball. He may even be the best pure hitter in Major League Baseball right now. So far in 6 seasons in the league, Juan Soto has a 284 average with a 421 on base percentage, which leads all of Major League Baseball during that 6 seasons. He also has a 423 slug, good for a 944 lifetime OPS so far, or a 156 OPS plus throughout his career, which would be about 56% more productive at the plate than the average player in Major League Baseball. This year, he started out really slow, and it looked like it was going to be a bit of a down year for Soto, but he lit fire in the second half and is close to ending the 2023 season with a 273 average, a still wildly impressive 408 on base percentage, and a 512 slug, good for a 155 OPS plus. Again, 55% above the average producer at the plate in Major League Baseball. He's also leading all of Major League Baseball in walks this year with 127, and on top of that too, he has 33 home runs and 105 RBIs. It's pretty safe to say that regardless of the start Juan Soto got off to, he had an extremely productive 2023 season. That is an extremely impressive season considering how he started and considering the fact that most people considered this year a down year for Juan Soto, right? It goes to show just how truly talented at the plate Juan Soto is, both contact-wise, power-wise, and the ability to command a strike zone. That is what Juan Soto is known for, right? He's known for being one of the best pure hitters in Major League Baseball. But on top of that, too, there are other reasons why the Red Sox could be interested in Soto. One of them is durability. Juan Soto, so far throughout his career, has been one of the most durable players in Major League Baseball. In fact, in those 6 seasons, outside of obviously the COVID 2020 season, Juan Soto has appeared in less than 150 games just one singular time, and that was his rookie year. Outside of that and the COVID year, Juan Soto has appeared in 150 plus games every year of his career. This season, he has not missed a singular game, and he's at 157 games total at the time of this recording, which is the most games played in Major League Baseball. The Red Sox have had a lot of injury history lately, and getting a guy like Juan Soto, who's known to be this durable force that's in your lineup every single day, could be exactly what the Red Sox are looking for. On top of that, Juan Soto is still super young. He's 24 this season. He will be going into his year 25 season next year, which is just wildly impressive to say. There's a good chance that we haven't even seen the peak of what Juan Soto could be, which is, again, a really scary thing to say considering what we talked about with his career numbers. So when we're looking at why the Red Sox could want to bring Juan Soto to Boston, right, the answer is really obvious. He's a fantastic baseball player. He's young, he's durable, and this is a guy who appeared to be not even at his peak yet. You could be getting prime Juan Soto from 25 on and really try and cement him into this lineup. Imagine a lineup where it's 1 and 2 punch of Rafael Devers and Juan Soto. That would be one of the most deadly combinations in all of Major League Baseball, right? The answer to whether or not the Red Sox should pursue Juan Soto when we're talking about positives is really, really clear, right? But there are some drawbacks as well, and I think the biggest drawback right now concerning Juan Soto is his defense. This year, Juan Soto had -9 outs above average, which was just in the 2nd percentile in Major League Baseball. To put that into Red Sox context, that is the exact same statistical season defensively as Masataka Yoshida. Now, the Red Sox this year obviously had a big old problem with their defense. Bringing in a guy like Juan Soto would cause a bit of a logjam in the outfield and ultimately probably end up with some less than ideal defensive players in the Red Sox outfield, especially because if you have Masa and Juan Soto, you got to fit him into the lineup somehow. Does that mean that you're going to have Juan Soto in right field at Fenway Park? I think most people would prefer that not to be the case. Most likely, what's going to have to happen here is either Juan Soto or Masataka Yoshida becomes a more full-time DH and they rotate in and out of left field, which again would create a bit of a logjam in the outfield. That's definitely a big concern when it comes to whether or not the Red Sox should go after Juan Soto because of how bad this defense was this year, and honestly, how many games it cost the Red Sox to have the defense they had on the field this year. The other issue with Juan Soto is monetarily, right? Juan Soto is going into his last full year of arbitration, which means that he is set to be a free agent after the 2024 season going into 2025. Trading for Juan Soto would more than likely mean to make that trade worth it, you were going to have to extend him. Now, the problem with that is we don't exactly know what kind of money he's looking for. He did deny a $400+ million contract from the Washington Nationals, which could indicate that he's looking for a really, really big payday. It could also indicate that he just simply did not want to play in Washington for an extended period of time. There are two different scenarios there, and we don't really know which one it is. If the Red Sox trade for Juan Soto, you risk the opportunity to extend him if you don't want to give him a bunch of money, but you're probably looking at a minimum of a $300+ million contract if you were to want to keep him here long term, which again would probably be the only reason you would trade for him in the first place. So on top of not having fantastic defense, you're also going to be bogged down with a really big contract for Juan Soto. But again, is that contract worth it, right? The durability, the youth, and the performance so far could lend to the fact that it might be worth investing that money into Juan Soto. But either way, right, those are two pretty major drawbacks, and it really starts to raise the question of whether or not it's even worth it for the Boston Red Sox. So let's take a look at what a trade could possibly look like to get Juan Soto, and let's talk about whether or not it would even make sense. Now, I used baseball trade values to come up with what I think is a pretty accurate trade for Juan Soto. The problem with baseball trade values is that sometimes they aren't the most accurate tool in the world, but it is a good starting point to take a look at what the value of a player could be. Right now, Juan Soto doesn't have the most value compared to what his statistics say, right? It would probably take more to get Juan Soto, but baseball trade values is factoring in the fact that you only have 1 year of control over Soto. He's probably going to command close to $30 million in arbitration. And if you want to make this trade worth it, you're probably going to need to spend above $300 million to keep him here. Those three factors are dragging his value down a bit. So according to baseball trade values, you could technically trade Juan Soto for Ceddanne Rafaela and Luis Perez, which honestly kind of makes sense, right? Ceddanne Rafaela is a top 100 prospect in Major League Baseball. He's the third best prospect in the Red Sox system right now. Luis Perez is the best, in my opinion, a talented pitching prospect the Red Sox have in the minor leagues right now. It makes sense to have to give up two big pieces to get Juan Soto, but it's not as much as I originally thought it would take. I still think it might take a little bit more than this, but this is a good starting point, right? So the ultimate question here is, would this be worth it for the Boston Red Sox? And to be honest with you, I have no idea. I don't know if this is worth it for the Red Sox to pursue Juan Soto, which is kind of crazy to say because, again, Think about the damage a lineup could do with Tristan Casas, Masataka Yoshida, Rafael Devers, Juan Soto, and more in one singular lineup. That could be absolutely crazy. But at the same time, too, you're also locking in a lot of money that could be allocated to pitching into Juan Soto. You're creating a really interesting DH situation here. Rafael Devers is eventually going to have to move to DH, right? If you're going to lock in Juan Soto, is he going to have to move to DH? And then you've got Masa on top of that. That's three different candidates to eventually take over the role of DH, and it's also going to hurt your defense in the long term. So is that something that's worth it to the Boston Red Sox? I don't know. I really don't know. I think this is a really interesting conversation to have, and it's the reason we're having this conversation. One, because there's nothing going on in Red Sox Nation right now. Two, the Red Sox on the field aren't doing very well. And three, it's just a fun scenario to talk about. So in my opinion, ultimately, this comes down to whether or not the Red Sox are willing to invest $300+ million into a guy who would create this sort of logjam at DH for the opportunity to have the statistical potential that Juan Soto has at such a young age. But that's just my opinion. So let me know in the comment section down below, what would you do? If you were in charge of the Boston Red Sox right now and the Padres said, yeah, Juan Soto is available, would you trade for him? Would you not trade for him? And if you would trade for him, what would be the prospect haul that you would give San Diego? Let me know all your thoughts on the Red Sox trading for Juan Soto in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Don't forget, we are going to be live tomorrow night at 6:30, and for members, if you are not a member yet and want to become a member, we are going to be live on this channel tonight for trivia night at 7 p.m. Eastern. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the red seats.